Hi friends, very good evening and welcome to paper discussion for CA Final Paper 3 Advanced Auditing. Now, what are we discussing today? We are discussing your Advanced Auditing paper of December 21 exam, new syllabus. Yes, I will be discussing your new syllabus paper. How was the paper? How was the paper? This time the paper was seriously easy. Yeah, you won't say it as difficult, it's easy because the questions were kind of direct. Except 2-3 questions which were a bit difficult. Otherwise, the questions were direct. It was not difficult to interpret the paper. Most of the time, the students have a problem in interpreting the questions in auditing. This time, interpretation side, the paper was a bit easier. And sir, MCQs. 30 marks MCQs, 70 mark descriptive. Your 30 marks MCQs, nobody knows कैसे MCQ है, but based on talks with student, around 20 marks of MCQs were directly from ICAI MCQ booklet. Yeah, so around 20 marks of MCQs were directly from ICAI MCQ booklet, and I've already taken a lecture on ICAI MCQ booklet. It's a free session on Unacademy. The special class on Unacademy I've taken for ICAI MCQ booklet. If you have not gone through, you can go through the same. Now, still exams are going on. Group 2 exams are not over. Those students who will be writing Group 2 next time, or those students who are going to write exams in future only. Yeah, there are some students who are joining, will be writing exams in future. This paper analysis will help you to understand how to interpret the questions which are asked and what is the exact answer to be written. The problem in auditing is question is specific, but the answers what we write are general. Question is specific, but the answers what we are writing is general. But today, I'll be showing the specific answers which are to be written. I'll try to show you the question and the answer in our material. I'll just link it with this was the point asked. So don't write full essay. Essay को general नहीं लिखना है. There is a point out of essay which is asked and that needs to be written. Now, before we begin with today's session, let me just introduce you to a new feature which we have added at Unacademy. There's a new feature which we have added. Let's see that new feature. We call it as raise a hand feature. Raise a hand, or you also call it as voice chat. So students many times feel difficulty in basically asking the doubt by typing it. So some questions are such which cannot be explained properly by typing it. So for that thing, we have this voice chat feature wherein students can ask a doubt through voice chat. They have a voice chat command activated for them also. So they can speak and we can hear to them, and based on that, we can answer properly the doubt what is there. Plus, we came out with a scheme called as Ask a Doubt Anytime, Anywhere. During lectures, definitely faculties are available. Yeah, after the lectures are over, we have faculty discussion groups which are there. You can put a question over there. Plus, we have a dedicated doubt solving team at Unacademy. So ask a doubt anytime, anywhere. We have two types of subscription at Unacademy. One is called as a plus subscription, other is called as an iconic subscription. Under iconic subscription, you get a physical material printed. Yeah, the printed physical material is there in iconic. And in iconic, we conduct a regular test series and the test papers are evaluated. The evaluated answer sheets and the printed material you get under iconic. Plus the material is given to you in a soft copy printable PDF. You can get it printed on your own, and tests are there, but you need to evaluate on your own. Self-evaluation will be there under your plus subscription. Definitely bit charges may difference will also be there. You can use code Yeshas Live. Yeah, take a subscription at Unacademy, use code Yeshas Live, you'll get 10% discount. And I tell you, we have an option to choose from 3-month subscription, 6-month subscription, 12-month subscription, 24-month subscription. So those students who are appearing in next May 22, I personally recommend them 6-month subscription. It was very cheap. The 6-month subscription will cost you around 11,000 rupees. That's it. And 11,000 mein you get access of entire CA Final Group 1. Imagine 4 subjects. We have crash batch as well as regular batch on Unacademy portal. You can watch live if lectures are going on, or you have a recorded viewing as well. The batches are just completed. All lectures which I have done, I have taken FR, I have taken auditing. They are the latest lecture as per the ICI latest material. you can definitely check it out. If your exam is in May 22, I'll recommend you to go for fast track batch. If your exams are later on, I'll personally recommend go for the regular batch. This is plus subscription. We have a combo of group 1, group 2 and this iconic use code Yeshas Live. You will get 10% discount on subscription. And the new course for CA Final, the CA Final FR, I just started last week. The complete course, regular batch for CA Final FR, I've started last week from 7th of December. Every day I'm having a class morning 6:30 to 9:30. And I tell you, auditing, CA Final Advanced Auditing, regular batch, I'll be starting from next month, January. January say auditing is also getting started. So in case you're writing in May, go for the fast track batch. In case you're writing later on, you can go for regular batch. Now let's go to today's paper discussion. Now, before I go for questions which are specifically there, I'll discuss each and every question. I'll link you with our material, the answer which is there in our material. You'll be able to understand how this was to be answered. Before that, let's just see how was the paper from each and every chapter. Which chapter was asked more? Let's see chapter-wise marks which was allocated in this paper. Okay. This is the chapter-wise analysis. Okay, which are the important chapters in auditing? Sir, you always say 3 chapters are very important. Auditing standards, professional ethics, company audit. Auditing standards, professional ethics, company audit, and around 60-65 marks of paper generally comes from these 3 chapters. This time, company audit was asked lesser. Repeat, this time your company audit was asked lesser. Normal weightage of company audit is around 10 to 15 marks. This time they did not ask from company audit. Oh, so check out your auditing standards. Your auditing standard, which comprises of chapter 1, 2, 3 and 6 of ICI material. We have 5 questions from it. 5, 4, total 24 marks. The auditing standards normally is around 30-35 marks. This time it was 24 marks asked. Auditing standards. Another important topic which we have is professional ethics. Normally 16 marks, 4 questions. Normally it's 16 marks, 4 questions. This time they asked 3 questions. Question 2C, question 3C, question 6C. So 3 questions were asked. It was asked for 12 marks. Okay, the 24 marks, I repeat, 24 marks was your auditing standards, 12 marks was professional ethics, and if I just come to company audit, company audit, you'll find nil. Schedule 3, there was 1 question. Schedule 3, there was 1 question which was of 5 marks. So Schedule 3 is kind of linked with company audit. So from these 3 important chapters, standards 24 marks, professional ethics 12, 24 plus 12, 36, and company audit with Schedule 3 is 5. So normally it has a weightage around 60 marks. This time 41 marks. This time 41 marks. So you can't say always that these 3 chapters I do properly, other chapters I'm not doing well. Sir, is it okay? This time it was not okay. So please ensure you're not leaving any chapter, and especially the other chapters. The students have a tendency that, sir, will do auditing standards, professional ethics, company audit properly, others I'll not do it properly. That will not work every time. This time out of the 3 chapters, only 41 marks was there. Others ka weightage was more. Acha, this is basically only of 70 marks. This is actually the descriptive part. MCQ nobody knows. MCQ how much was there nobody knows. So this is actually 41 marks out of 84 marks. 41 out of 84. 84 kaise, sir? So 70 marks hota hai plus 1 extra question. You have an optional question which is there. Question 1 is compulsory. Out of remaining 5, you are required to attend 4. So 84 mein se, out of 84, 41 marks was for auditing standards, professional ethics and company audit. Okay, which were the other chapters which were asked? 1 question of audit committee and corporate governance. 1 question of audit of CFS. 1 question of audit of bank. 1 question of audit of insurance company. 1 question of NBFC, 1 question of tax audit. GST audit was not there. one question of tax audit, one question of PSU audit, one question of PSU audit, and one question you had of forensic audit, one question of peer review. One question of forensic audit, one question of peer review. This is how the paper was asked. So other chapters, maximum one question out of each. And this time the questions which were asked, they were mostly those which we had marked important in our classwork. In our class, I told you these are important, these are important. That were generally the types of questions which were asked. So, sir, was paper difficult? Frankly, no. To interpret the paper this time was not difficult. The questions were easily interpretable. Okay, let's move on to individual questions. Let's move on to individual question. I'll take each and every question. I'll show you what answer needs to be written. I'll link it with our material. I'll just link it with our material where the topic or the question was there in our material. Now, the paper of auditing comprises of two parts. Part A is your MCQs, 30 marks. Part B is your descriptive answers, which are of 70 marks. What we are discussing is only the descriptive answers. MCQs, what I've heard, I'm just telling you, out of 30 marks, around 20 marks MCQs were directly from ICAI MCQ booklet. So please ensure you do that ICAI MCQ booklet. And I've taken a free class, a free special class on Unacademy app for ICAI MCQ booklet. You can go through that lecture. Okay, now going to the part 2. In your part 2, there are 6 questions. 6 questions of 14 marks each. 14 6 are 84. Question 1 is compulsory. And out of remaining 5, you are required to attend 4. Out of remaining 5, you are required to attend 4. Let's see the questions. Coming to question number 1. Now, most important thing in auditing is the last 2-3 lines. Always last 2-3 lines of the question needs to be interpreted properly. If you interpret that properly, you understand what is the question. Okay, so Messrs. Kumar and Company, Chartered Accountant, were appointed as a statutory auditor of PC Limited, and during the audit, one of the partner observed there is a misappropriation of asset. Okay, there is some misappropriation of asset. SA 240 is on frauds. SA 240 is audit consideration in relation to frauds. Now, fraud can be by two-way, fraudulent financial reporting, and second is misappropriation of asset. They've clearly said misappropriation of asset in form of theft of entities' inventory, and it's perpetrated by employees in relatively small and immaterial amount. The employees are stealing inventories. Your Kumar is concerned, CA Kumar is concerned with certain circumstances that are increasing the susceptibility of misappropriation of asset. Now, important is always the last 2 lines. Read this very carefully. Guide CA Kumar with respect to risk factors. Guide CA Kumar with respect to risk factors relating to misstatements arising from misappropriation of asset with reference to relevant standard on auditing. Tell me, which is the standard applicable? Which is the standard applicable, sir? SA 240 is applicable, correct. Now, the word risk factor. This question looks easier, but actually this was a tricky question. Yeah, it looks easier, but it was a tricky question. Whenever they come out with the word risk factor, if you recall, fraud risk factor was a definition given in SA 240. Your fraud risk factors. Fraud risk factors are what? They are situations or conditions that motivate someone or incentivize someone to commit fraud. They are situations or conditions that motivate someone or incentivize someone to commit fraud. Now, when they ask about risk factors, the question is risk factors relating to misstatement from misappropriation of asset. When question is risk factor, answer is divided in 3 parts. Sir, which are the 3 parts? 1, incentive. What is the incentive? Second is opportunity, and third, rationalization. The risk factor word, always the answer is divided in 3 parts: incentive, opportunity, rationalization. I told you, question looked simpler. People will write journal about SA 240 and then marks are not there. So did we had this in our material? Yes, we had this in our material. I am taking out the material of the batch which I have completed at Unacademy, the batch which I started in the month of July. In the month of July, I started a auditing ka batch. I am taking that material. The link of the material is there in your chat box. If you check out, the link of material is given in your chat box. I just go to SA 240, our material, question number 16. SA 240, this is our material, question number 16. What are the risk factors relating to misstatement from misappropriation of asset? Ditto, same question. What are the risk factors relating to misstatement for misappropriation of asset? I told you answer will be in three parts: incentive, opportunities, and last May, rationalization. Incentives, opportunities, and rationalization. Okay, incentive. Why do people go for this? Why do people basically go for misappropriation of asset? Some personal financial obligation. They have some personal financial obligation. Uske karan they are doing it. Or adverse relationship between entity and employee. I'm not having good relationship with company. That's why I'm doing fraud. That's incentive. Opportunity. Opportunity. Certain characteristic or circumstances. Certain characteristic of circumstances like asset is very small in size. Easily you can steal it. Or huge cash is maintained. They are not doing physical verification of cash on regular basis. Inadequate internal control. These are all opportunities. This create an opportunities. And if I just go down, rationalization, attitude or rationalization. Why am I doing it? See, people who do fraud, they try to rationalize it. They say everybody does it. Even top level management, they don't follow the controls. They only have not put the system of doing physical verification. You're trying to rationalize the things. So disregard for monitoring, even top level management doesn't do it. They themselves have not put the internal controls. Or tolerance of petty theft. Itna to chalta hai. This is fine. So this is basically the answer. Okay, so this was your question number 1. Risk factors relating to misstatement from misappropriation of asset. It was a kind of bouncer question. Now, going to question number 1B. Okay, question number 1B. In the course of audit of Tech Limited, you observed that processing of accounting data was given to a third party. Processing of accounting data was given to a third party. So it is nothing but entity is using service organization. This is SA 402. Entity is using service organization. Now let's see what is the question. As an auditor, what would be the consideration regarding nature and extent of services undertaken by service organization to determine whether those activities are relevant for audit and to assess their impact on audit risk? The simple words may, what would be your consideration regarding nature and extent of services undertaken by service organization? So we need to obtain understanding. I repeat, we need to obtain the understanding of the services provided by service organization so that I'm able to understand the nature and extent of their effect of the work done by them. And based on that, I can decide what will be the effect on my audit risk. So, question was understanding the work which is done by service organization. Sir, answer. Let's go to our material. Okay, this is SA 402, requirement number 1. This was basically asked. SA 402, requirement number 1. You have to obtain understanding of the services provided by service organization. This is to understand the nature and extent of the work performed by them. Based on that, I can understand what is the risk related to service organization in our audit. See, here clearly they would have written over here. You should have a sufficient understanding so that you are able to understand the nature and significance of the services provided by them. And based on that, you are able to identify and assess the risk of material misstatement. This requirement number 1, that was the answer. I'm telling you again, questions are specific. Don't write just general answer. Only what was asked, only requirement number 1 was asked. Okay, let's go to question number 1C. Question number 1C. CA Madhu. CA Madhu is a statutory auditor of Lakshmi Limited, and in respect of loans and advances of 75 lakh given to Shriman Private Limited, company has not furnished any agreement to CA Madhu, and you are unable to verify the terms of repayment, chargeability of interest, other terms. Simple words, company has given a loan to someone, you have not got the loan agreement. So I'm not able to understand whether repayment is done timely or not, interest is being charged properly or not, other terms and conditions are fulfilled or not. We are unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Tell me, which report should be given? Which type of opinion should be given? We are unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Now we need to understand the possible effect. We can't use the word effect, the word has to be possible effect. If possible effect is material but not pervasive, give a qualified opinion. If a possible effect is material and pervasive, if possible effect is material and pervasive, we are required to give a disclaimer of opinion. The question was justify the type of opinion. You can choose any of it, depending on possible effect material but not pervasive or possible effect material and pervasive. Now question doesn't end here. Problem is student don't read the full question. This was one part. Second is draft appropriate opinion para and the basis for opinion para. Draft appropriate opinion para and the basis for opinion para. If you are giving a qualified report telling the possible effect is material but not pervasive, draft accordingly. If you are giving an adverse report telling the possible effect is material and pervasive, draft accordingly. So this is a direct question. It will be there in everybody's material, not just my material. All faculties, sabke material mein this will be there. Okay, next. Question number 2A. Next, question number 2A. During the course of audit of Fortune Limited, Shri Prasad is concerned with quality and effectiveness of internal control. Towards achieving his objective, he wants to assess and evaluate the control environment. Now, always, last two lines are very important. Question starts from here. Guide CA Prasad with well-defined set of SOP, standard operating procedures, in assessment and evaluation of internal control. What are the standard operating procedures which are basically there in assessment and evaluation of control? Now, sir, was it there? Yes. This is based on SA 315. Let's go to our material. Page number is 109 of our material. Okay, check question number 30. The same question was also asked in May 2019, already marked as important in our material. Towards achieving objective, he asks your help in knowing the standard operating procedure. For assessment and evaluation of control. See, answer is simple. We want to have a standard operating procedures for evaluating control. For evaluating control, what things do we see? Whether entity has a risk management system, whether segregation of duties is done properly, job rotations are done in sensitive areas, delegation of admin and financial powers are judicially decided. Admin power, one who is doing admin work, he should not be having the financial. The one who has the custody of assets should not be doing recording wala thing. So this is basically the answer. Question was there, but it's very specific. Please don't write general about internal control, like management is responsible for establishing good internal control. Auditor should check that the controls are good. If controls are not good, he has to do extra procedure. Please don't write general answers. Next, question number 2B. We are discussing each and every question. I'm linking with our material. You will find everything is there in our material. Frankly, the material which we have drafted is exhaustive one. That is going to help you, but you need to understand what the question is. Mr. Khanna has been appointed as a statutory auditor, and the financial statements are drawn in compliance with Ind AS. Okay, so compliance with Ind AS is there. The Chief Financial Officer is of the view that disclosure requirement given under Division 2, yeah, it's Ind AS company, Division 2 of Schedule 3 applies. Disclosure requirement of Division 2 of Schedule 3 are complete and no other disclosures are required in notes or by additional statement. So the CFO of the company feels disclosure requirement of Division 2 of Schedule 3 are the complete one. There are no other disclosures. Now, I told you always interpret last two lines properly. Check what's given. Advise on general instructions to be considered while preparing financial statement. What's the question? General instructions to be considered while preparing financial statement. This is a question on Schedule 3. Let me just open up Schedule 3 for your reference. Okay. Yeah, chalo. I got the Schedule 3. General instructions for preparation of financial statement, that is asked. Okay, the first page of Schedule 3. First page of Schedule 3. If you just see over here, what is written? What is written? General instructions for preparation of balance sheet and P&L. This is what is asked. General instructions for preparation of balance sheet and P&L. This is asked, and I just tell you specifically the line for this question. They say that the disclosure requirement of Division 2, yeah, this is Division 1, similar line is there in Division 2. Similar line is there in Division 2. I'm not opening Division 2, just for your understanding. The disclosure requirements of Division 2 are complete. No other disclosures are required. See what is given over here clearly. They say the disclosure requirements given in this schedule are in addition to. They are in addition to and not in substitute of the disclosure requirements which are there in Ind AS. If Ind AS says some disclosures required, you have to give it. Ind AS says some disclosure, you are required to give it. So Division 2K disclosures, are they complete? Division 2K disclosures, are they complete? No, they are just in addition to the disclosures which are required under your Ind AS. So this was the question which was asked. Okay, let's go back. Question number 2C. We're discussing each and every question linking with our material. The cashier has committed a fraud, absconded. The chief accountant was also not able to find out the fraud. In the course of audit, auditor also failed to discover the fraud. Okay, auditor also failed to discover the fraud. After the audit is completed, the fraud was discovered by chief accountant. Investigation indicates that auditor did not exercise proper care and skill. Okay, if the auditor did not exercise proper care and skill, would he be guilty of professional misconduct? Yes, sir. He will be guilty of professional misconduct. It is Clause 7, Part 1, Second Schedule. Clause 7, Part 1, Second Schedule. If he fails to exercise due diligence or is grossly negligent in conduct of duties, he will be guilty of professional misconduct. So clause, which one? 7, Part 1, Second Schedule. TK. With this background, they want to file a disciplinary proceeding against the auditor. Comment with reference to Chartered Accountant Act. Now, don't write about SA. Comment with respect to Chartered Accountant Act and basically therein. So, this is question relating to Clause 7, Part 1, Second Schedule. If you are grossly negligent or fail to exercise due diligence, you are guilty of professional misconduct. Ditto, same question. There in our material, let me just open it. Professional ethics. Just a minute. This is professional ethics, and if you check over here, the same question. The cashier committed a fraud, absconded, auditor failed to discover, later it is discovered by chief accountant. We are required to write about clause 7 part 1 second schedule. Did you understood this? Next, the question was from question 3a. Now, question 3a, the report of CAG of India, are presented to Parliament and to various state legislatures. Again, see the last line. Enumerate the content of audit report presented to CAG. Enumerate the content of audit report presented to CAG. This is a question of PSU audit. This is a question of PSU audit. Again, a direct question which was there in our material. Let me just open that. PSU audit. Chapter number 13. And it's on your page number 16. Check over here. Audit report of CAG. Check over here. Audit report of CAG. So how is the audit report of CAG given? We give it to president or governor. They will present it to parliament or state legislature. We give it to president or governor. They will present it to parliament and state legislature. This 4 points was answer. Answer is very specific. 4 points, 4 marks. I tell you, they don't want stories. They just want specific answers. Next. Okay, question number 3b. You have been appointed as a concurrent auditor of one of the branch of Coin Bank Limited. The branch is mainly dealing in foreign exchange. Okay, you are a concurrent auditor and the branch is mainly dealing in foreign exchange. Question. What are the suggested audit procedures to be covered by you to check foreign exchange transaction while doing concurrent audit? Okay, so this is a question of bank audit, under that concurrent audit. The concurrent audit may we cover many points. One of the point is foreign exchange transaction. Question was only on foreign exchange transaction. Let's see. It is audit of banks. It's page number 41. You will get the same question. Okay. Now this is your concurrent audit. This is your concurrent audit and these are the activities covered in concurrent audit: cash, investment, deposits, advances. Question was on foreign exchange. Question was on foreign exchange. The points only related to this foreign exchange were to be written. And if you just check out, this also was marked as important in our material. I told you the questions this time were mostly those which were already marked as important in material. Next. So please don't write general answers. Questions are specific. Answer also has to be specific. Next one, question number 3C. CA Mehta was appointed as auditor of CS Limited and Mehta accepted the appointment. Mehta accepted the appointment after taking a certificate from management that the provisions of section 139, 140 has been complied with. Now this is a question based on, again, professional ethics, Chartered Accountant Act, clause number, this is clause number 8, part 1, first schedule. Clause number 8, part 1, first schedule. See, you are required, actually not clause 8, it's actually clause number 9. You are required to ensure that the provisions of section 139, 140 has been complied with before accepting the position as an auditor. Accepts a position as an auditor without ascertaining accepts position as an auditor without ascertaining whether the provisions of Companies Act are complied or not. Now, what did you do over here? What did CA Mehta do over here? He just took a certificate from management. He took a certificate of management that section 139, 140 are complied with. Section 139, 140 are complied with. Do you think that taking a certificate only is enough? Answer is no. We have to really ascertain. The word is ascertain used in the clause. The word ascertain is to be seen. Okay, coming back to your professional ethics. I'll show you this question. Okay, page number 45 of our material. Okay, opening, closing, so many files. The word is hanging. Okay, clause number 9. Clause number 9 accepts appointment as an auditor without ascertaining whether the requirements of section 139, 140 are complied or not. This was the question. And see, the word is ascertaining. So ascertaining means you have to be certain. The word ascertain, यहाँ पे लिखा है, ascertain means to find out for certain. To find out from certain. Merely accepting certificate from management is not valid. Merely accepting certificate from management is not valid. We have accepted just a certificate from management. This is wrong. ठीक है, moving ahead. Next question, question number 4. Next question, question number 4. Now, this was on audit of CFS, Consolidated Financial Statement. MNB Limited, MNB Investment Limited. Okay, MNB Investment Limited is a company having a paid up capital 1 crore. MNB Investment Limited has a paid up capital 1 crore. It has a subsidiary, Investment Fund Management Limited. Okay, the MNB Limited is an investment company and they have a subsidiary called as Investment Fund Management Limited. Okay, what does MNB do? The business of MNB is to take money from investors, invest it. I take money from investors, I invest on their behalf, and the shareholders, the people who invest in my company, I take money from people, I give them my shares. I give them my shares and then I'll invest them and they'll be getting returns in form of capital appreciations or dividend income. That is what they'll be getting. Okay, so we have pooled a total of 10 crore and then we have invested. Profit is basically then distributed to the various shareholder. So I have a question, whether M&B investment company, is it an investment entity? Is it an investment entity? Yes, sir. It fulfills the criteria of investment entity. For an investment entity, you should be taking money from people. You should be taking money from people, investing on their behalf and giving them returns only in form of investment income or appreciations. So it is an investment company. And we know under your Ind AS 110, investment companies are exempted from preparing CFS. Now check the question asked. CAX raised an issue. CAX raised an issue while auditing MNB Limited whether CFS are required as per section 129 subsection 3. See, section 129 subsection 3 always CFS are required, but Ind AS 110 mein exemption is there. If it's an investment company, investment companies are exempted provided they carry their investment in subsidiary associate JV at fair value through P&L. The investment entities are exempted provided they carry the investment in subsidiary associate JV at fair value through P&L, but there's one exception. If investment entity has a subsidiary, which is a non-investment company, if investment entity has a subsidiary which is a non-investment company, but which are providing services which are related to investment company. Like I am an investment company, I have a subsidiary which does a research for me. I have an investment company, I have a subsidiary which does a research for me, then that subsidiary is to be consolidated. Now question is silent over here, what does this subsidiary do? Question is silent over here. What does this subsidiary do? Answer has to be kind of diplomatic. If this is a subsidiary which is providing services which are related to investment entity, then this has to be consolidated. CFS are to be prepared. But if it is a subsidiary which is not providing services related to investment entity, and if it is carried at fair value through P&L, then it is not to be consolidated. The same thing we have in our chapter of audit of CFS. Investment entities are exempted, plus FR also you done Ind AS 110 in detail. Next, it's there in our material, I'm not just showing it. Now, B point, ACT Silk Industries. ACT Silk Industries is a leading textile manufacturing listed entity. In the course of evidence collection and analysis, you found out that there's a shifting of fund through payment to shell companies. So funds are shifted by making payment to shell companies. SEBI appointed you as a forensic auditor. You are appointed as a forensic auditor. Now, important is last two lines. I always personally tell you so many times that last 2-3 lines in auditing are to be interpreted well. Enumerate in brief steps to be taken while doing forensic audit. While doing forensic audit, what are the steps to be taken? 6 steps. Okay, steps of investigation, steps of forensic audit are as such same. There's one more extra step in forensic audit, court proceeding. There's one more extra step in forensic audit, court proceeding. Otherwise, steps of investigation, steps of forensic audit are same. So, is it there in material? Definitely. Full paper was actually there in our material. Our material is exhaustive. You need to make efforts for it and do it fully. Okay, let me just open this question. It's page number 16.40. Whichever word is getting tired. Page number 40. Problem is actually OBS. Whenever we are taking lectures in OBS, other things when we open and close becomes a bit of issue. Okay, now just go down to page number 40. If you see process of forensic audit, usme many forensic audit assignment will include the steps given below. Will include the steps given below. There are 6 steps. First is initialization. Second, you develop a plan, you obtain evidence, you perform your analysis, you report, and forensic audit may your report serves as evidence in eyes of court of law, the court proceedings. This was a question which was asked. Moving ahead, next one. Question number 4C. The company is a registered company under Companies Act 2013. Okay. They are engaged in business of loans and advances, acquisition of shares, debentures, and they are given some extract of the financial statement. Now, they have some paid up capital. Under your non-current asset, you have some loans and advances, this many crores. Under current asset, you have a loans and advances, this many crores. Okay, loans and advances under non-current asset, loans and advances under current asset. And then you have the total assets of the company, 530 crore. Intangible assets are 3 crore. Now, if you recall, to decide whether it's a NBFC or not, we have a 50-50 test. Now, what is that 50-50 test? Your 50% of total assets, your 50% of total assets should be financial assets, and at least 50% of your total income should be income from financial asset. Actually not 50%, the word is more than 50%. Okay, assets may, it has to be excluding intangible asset. Other than intangible is the word written. Out of 530 we deduct 3. Out of 530 we deduct 3. This is the total assets. More than 50% should be financial asset, that loans and advances. And this is your total income. This is your gross income. More than 50%. More than 50% should be income from your financial asset. Both criteria are being met over here. Both criteria are being met over here. It is a NBFC. and they want to apply for registration. Whether the registration is required, answer is yes. The question was 50-50 test is met or not. Okay, next question number 5A. Mr. Agarwal, in the course of audit of PQ, wants to perform external confirmation procedure. You want to do external confirmation, SA 505. Okay, guide Mr. Agarwal listing the factors. List out the factors which will help him in determining whether external confirmation procedures are to be performed as a substantive audit evidence. So what are the factors which we'll consider when we are doing external confirmation procedure? Okay, so this question, again, it was there in our material. Kahan pe hai? Let's just check it. Just a minute. I'm trying to link all the answers so that you're able to understand what is to be precisely written. Don't write the answers very generally. Questions are precise, answers also has to be precise. Page number... Okay, SA 505 external confirmation. In that we have page number 1.154. Check the first question. What are the factors to be considered when designing your confirmation request? So first, the assertion to be addressed. Imagine you want to understand existence of a fixed asset. If I want to understand existence of fixed asset, I should go for physical verification. I can't go for external confirmation. So check the assertion to be addressed, risk associated with it, layout, presentation of request, your prior experience, whether the respondents are replying, not replying, this all you consider, and then you decide whether you can use external confirmation request or not. This was basically the question. I'm again telling, questions are specific, don't give general answers. Moving ahead. Question number 5B. Long Age Foundation Limited, a pharmaceutical company, they collect data from hospital, and their experts tried to understand the medical needs of elderly people. After completing study, the experts developed an application where Long Age Foundation will provide some healthcare solution at a nominal amount to the customers. CAP, while doing his audit, all was story. I told you last 3 lines. CAP, while doing audit, has used data analytics, also known as CAT. You use data analytics, also known as CAT. Give illustration of suggested approach to get the benefit of CAT. So this is a question from automated environment. Question is suggested approach to get benefit from CAT. Data analytics ka question hai. Data analytics, 2 questions were there. One is where I can use it, where I can use data analytics. Second is suggested approach. The question is on suggested approach. Check solution over here. You'll be able to understand better. Let me just open it. I'm showing you this answer so that you're able to understand what was precisely asked. It's given in our page number 12. Don't write general about data analytics. Now, check over here. Now, one question can be, the data analytics can be used where several aspects of audit mein we can use ye sab cheezon mein. This was not the question. Question was the suggested approach to benefit from use of CAT. This chart which is given, this chart was the answer. So first of all, we need to understand the business environment, the IT environment. Then we need to define our objective. Then we need to identify which data we need, extract the data, verify the data is complete, apply your criteria, whatever results you are getting, validate the result and do your documentation. So this chart was the answer. If you write general about data analytics, marks will not be there. Next. Okay, this was question number 5B. Going to 5C. Okay, question number 5C. Insurance company. Now, I'm just going to the last line of the question. What is given? Last line of the question. Identify or indicate the circumstances where the company should not issue the policy document. When I should not issue the policy document, premium is not received at all. Premium is received by check, but the check is dishonored. Or basically premium was basically by way of a bank guarantee, but the bank guarantee is falling short. That was the answer. Is it there in material? Definitely there. Our material is exhaustive, covering everything. Let's just open it again. But please don't try to take out things in option. Yeah, auditing is a paper which calls for thorough understanding as well as thorough revisions as well. Okay, it was on page number 22 of our material, 10.22. Page number 10.22. Now see, this is the question asked. If you see यहाँ पे, this point would have been marked as important, verification of premium. Now in that point number 4, the auditor should verify that the policy documents are not issued under following cases. Auditor should verify the policy documents are not issued under following cases. Premium is not collected at all. We got a check, but check is dishonored. Premium was by way of some bank guarantee, but the guarantee has fallen short. So this was the answer which was asked. Don't write about how do we check the premium received. Question was not that. Next, question number 6. The last question. Okay, CA Pradeep. CA Pradeep is appointed as auditor of Delicious Foods Limited, a listed company. Okay, listed company, it's there. And they were paid up capital 5.97 crore. Paid up capital 5.97 crore. And you observed that this guy, Mr. Srinivas Gupta, was appointed as independent director. See, independent director is a one who is no way associated with company. He is not a major supplier, major customer, major agent, and he does not hold. He plus his relative. He plus his relative does not hold 2% or more shares of the company. Over here, Srinivas is holding this much shares and the wife is holding this much share. If you total it out, it will turn as exactly 2% of total paid up capital. So they are holding this many rupees ke shares, it will turn out to be exactly 2%. If it is 2% or more, they are not said to be independent director. If it is 2% or more, it will not be covered in the definition of the word independent director. CA Pradeep raised an objection that appointment of independent director is not proper. He is not independent director. Company is telling his holding is less than prescribed. It's not less than prescribed. Exactly 2 or more percentage holding by him or his relatives. It makes that he is not a independent director. Now, if he is not an independent director, how we are going to report the issue? It's a listed company. It's a listed company. We are required to give a report on compliance of LODR regulation. In that compliance report of LODR regulation, we'll give a modified report. Compliance report of LODR regulation will say that that is not an independent director. The criteria of independent director is not getting fulfilled. Okay, next one. Next one, your question number 6B. Question number 6B. While carrying out tax audit, it's a question on tax audit. Company has entered into some specified financial transaction which are covered under section 285BA. And PQR Limited has furnished a statement in Form 61 and Form 61A. We are required to guide about the reporting requirement of Clause 42 of Form 3CD. We are required to guide about requirements of Clause 42 of Form 3CD. Now, this is normally applicable to bank, financial institutions and similar companies. So, if there are some specified financial transactions done, and uske related, if suppose transaction is done with a person who is not giving me his PAN, some people who are not giving me the PAN, so unke paas se I collect Form 60 and the summary of that I give it to department in Form 61. The Form 61 is transaction with those who are not given me PAN number. PAN was required but they are not giving. 61A was specified financial transaction which are to be given to government. Imagine you deposit in bank cash exceeding some limit, or you invested in mutual fund exceeding some limit. They will give your details to department. The form 61A has been filed. Uske related disclosures is clause number 42. The simple clause 42 directly was asked. Let me just open it for you. This is on page number 12.37. All questions were there in our material. Only thing, you should have done it properly. Don't try to go for shortcuts. See, someone reading a summary material of 100-200 pages will not work in auditing. Yeah. ICAI has given you 2000 pages. If you read 200 pages, definitely it's not going to be sufficient. Okay, so this was page number 37 pe. Clause number 42. This is asked whether the SSC is required to file a statement in form 61 or 61A. Yes, they have already filed. If yes, these details are to be given. This was the question. Next, moving ahead to the last question, question number 6C. Moving ahead to the last question, question number 6C. Okay, 6C mein they gave you option. 6C mein they have given you option. Now check over here. You are a practicing chartered accountant and you are appointed as a simple director. Okay, being a practicing CA, can I be appointed as a director? Being a practicing CA, can I be appointed as a director? Yes. You cannot be a managing director or whole-time director. You can be a director simpliciter, that's allowed. Okay, you are a director in a private limited company. After serving 18 months, you resigned. Okay, so I leave that company. I was a director of a company. I leave that directorship. Can I take up the audit of that company only? So I was a director of a company. I left the directorship. I left directorship immediately. Can I become an auditor of that company? Earlier, there was a cooling period of 2 years. Now that cooling period is removed. In our material, professional ethics. In our material, professional ethics, last May, there were some decisions by Ethical Standard Board. Let me just show you decisions by Ethical Standard Board last May. Okay, so we had this decisions by Ethical Standard Board, reason decisions. Uske andar the point number. Just a minute. Uske andar the point number 4. Point number 4, upon resignation of a company, you were a director upon resignation. Earlier, there was a cooling period of 2 years. You cannot be auditor of that company for 2 years. Now, the cooling period has removed. The member may take decision on its own. This was the question which was asked. And coming to the last question. See, Manoj has been appointed as a peer reviewer. You are appointed as a peer reviewer. As a PU, what are the obligation? Question is, what is the obligation of PU? Now, this chapter of peer review was revised, and this question is based on that extra point which is added in the revised peer review chapter. Obligation of PU. So, check the solution. I'll just show you. Minute. Peer review era. See, those people who have time crunch, I'm requesting them, don't take this subject of auditing lightly. At least make sure you watch our fast track batch. Our fast track batch is also very exhaustive. I have a regular batch as well as a fast track batch on Unacademy. Please make sure you are watching at least the fast track batch. Don't try to go for self-study for this subject. You might be feeling it's theory. But frankly, now to understand this, what is precisely the question, that becomes very important. Okay, this is given on our page number 10. Just a minute. Question was about obligation of PU. This was the question. So what is the obligation of PU? One, you have to allow the reviewer to see the records, documents, whatever he wants. You need to give explanation to reviewer, whatever he wants. You need to give him all the assistance, and you need to produce the information to him in a legible way, English, Hindi. If a document is other than in English, Hindi, you can give it in a translated form if he needs it. This is the obligation of PU. This was basically the question. Okay, so this was your entire paper of CA Final Advanced Auditing December 21 exam, new syllabus. Okay, so sir, was the paper difficult? Answer is no. This time the question paper was really interpretable. It was not difficult to interpret like the last paper was a bit difficult to interpret. July examination was a bit difficult. This one was interpretable, but the questions are precise. Answer also needs to be precise from your side. If you take this subject in a lighter way on your own, you will never be getting marks in this. But if you take this subject in a proper way, I can understand, this is asked. If I'm trying to understand what is asked and based on that I'm writing the answers, definitely you're going to get good marks in auditing. Getting exemption is not at all difficult in auditing if you understand the subject properly. At least make sure you've taken up the fast track batch so that you're able to interpret the things in a manner what is asked. Intermediate level, the papers are very general one. Yeah, they are very general one. The questions are not so precise. Final level, the questions are very precise. Answer also needs to be precise from your side. I hope you are able to understand each and every question. I have linked it with our material. Full question, all the questions which are there, everything was there in our material. The material which I opened, that was the material which I had issued at Unacademy in the batch which I started in July. The July May one batch of auditing was done. Usme material which was given, full paper was over there. MCQs, we don't know anything about MCQs, but from the students what we have heard, 20 marks of MCQs. Out of 30, 20 marks were directly from ICAI MCQ booklet. I've taken a lecture on ICAI MCQ booklet. It's a free session at Unacademy, and I've also taken a revision for full auditing. Full audit ka revision, full FR ka revision, they are free sessions. They're free sessions. Audit I have revised in around 16 hours. Not 16, it's around 22 hours. The audit is 22 hours, FR is around 28 hours. Full free revision is also available for your reference. So those students who feel that my preparation is already well, I just want to brush up the things, you can take up a revision or you can take up a fast track batch. And those students who are new, who have to take up the subject, personal recommendation first is complete batch. If time crunch is there, go for fast track batch. Anything which you want to ask, please let me know. Sukumar is telling, sir, I'll definitely get an exemption in FR. Because of you, your material was really great. Thank you, Sukumar. Please spread it across to all your friends. My thing which I always do is, like, I have an exhaustive material. I never believe in kind of very short summary material because that's not going to work in CA final. And yeah, you're given 3 years. After getting 3 years of time for examination, you come and say, I want 200 pages. कुछ नहीं हो सकता. कुछ नहीं हो सकता. Just remember one thing. Success is not by doing big things. It's just by doing small things with great discipline. If you just, during your first 2 years, if you attend your classes, try to make sure your coaching is completed 4-5 months before examination. Half an hour a day, 1 hour a day, you just revise what is done in class. And the last 4-5 months is the major efforts required from you. Last 5 months, if someone is putting 10 to 12 hours a day, that's definitely sufficient. But last 5 months, I personally feel coaching should not be pending. Last 5 months are only for your self-study. Anything you want to ask, let me know, or else we end this session. Okay, I think there aren't any doubts from your side. It was lovely to have you all over here. Many free sessions of mine are there on Unacademy app, the special classes which are there. And yes, the complete batch, fast track batch, they are there as a part of paid subscription. Either you can choose a plus subscription